हरि ओम। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री हिरण्यगर्भाय नमः। ओम श्री महाविष्णुवे नमः। ओम श्री महादेवाय नमः। ओम श्री महादुर्गाय नमः। ओम श्री रामाय नमः। ओम श्री सद्गुरवे नमः। ओम समस्त जन कल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम् शंकरं शंकराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवत् व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। शङ्करं परमानन्दं ब्रह्मनिष्ठं यतीश्वरम् भाष्यभ्रान्तिहरं वन्दे शुद्धज्ञानैकबोधकम्। ॐ नमः शिवाय। 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 नमः पार्वती पतये हर हर महादेव। हरि ओम। हरि ओम। We'll begin with the Shanti mantra. ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः सुष्ठुवागंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्ताक्षो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्ददातु। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम। We shall chant the mantras of the sixth section, the first two mantras. अतः हैनं सुकेशा भारद्वाज पप्रच्छ भगवान् हिरण्यनाभ कौसल्यो राजपुत्रो माम् उपेत्य एतं प्रश्नम् अपृच्छत्। षोडशकलं भारद्वाज पुरुषं वेत्थ तमहं कुमारम् अब्रुवम् नाहम् इदं वेद यदि अहम् इमम् अवेदिशं कथं तेनावक्ष्यमिति स मूलो वा एष परिशुष्यति yo anritam abhivadati tasman narhami anritam vaktum satushnim ratam aruyya pravabraja tam tva prichami kvasau purusha iti. तस्मै स होवाच इह एवान्तः शरीरे सौम्य स पुरुषः यस्मिन् एता षोडशकला प्रभवन्ति इति. So the sixth disciple, Sukesha Bharadwaja, he asked this final question about the Shodasha Kala Purusha. This Shodasha Kala Purusha is that Supreme Brahma alone, who is indicated here as Purusha. Even in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan calls that Supreme Brahma as Uttama Purusha. Uttama Purushastvanyaha. And this world, Bhagavan calls Kshara Purush and Akshara Purush. So the world is also Purusha, but beyond this world is that Uttama Purush. Here that Purusha is indicated as having 16 kalas, 16 facets. So where is this Purusha? Kvasau Purusha iti. Where is this Purusha? So the teacher now replies, Tasmai sa hovacha iha eva antah sharire somya sa purushaha yasmin eta shodasha kala prabhavanti iti. The teacher says that Purusha, which you are asking about, is present in this body itself. You don't have to go anywhere else to seek that Purusha. That Purusha is present in this body itself. Iha eva antah sharire somya sa purushaha. Purusha literally means one who is all pervading. It also means one who is present everywhere in the Pura. The entire universe is considered as a Pura. Pura means a place, a kingdom. So Purusha is one who pervades the entire universe. This our body is also called Pura. In the Bhagavad Gita also, Bhagavan calls this body as a Pura with 11 gates. Ekadasha Pura. So one who is present in this body is called Purusha. So this Purusha has 16 kalas. What are the 16 kalas? Bhagavan will tell. But these 16 kalas are the entire universe. So the universe is the kalas of this Purusha. Kala means different facets. They are not exact, they are not different from the Purusha. Purusha alone appears in 16 different ways. Like that one moon alone appears in 16 different ways. Moon is one only, but appears in 16 different phases. Similarly, the Purusha is one, but appears in 16 different phases, facets, kalas. So that Purusha is present in this body itself. Why it is considered as present in this body only, though it is present everywhere? Here the teacher is indicating that this Purusha is present in this body because one can recognize and realize that Purusha in this body itself. So when we look within the body itself is made up of the five great elements: Akash, Vayu, Agni, Jal, Prithvi. Then the body functions because of the inner body, also the subtle body. So there are these five organs of actions, five organs of perceptions. Then there is what is called Antakaran Chatushtaya, the fourfold Antakaran, Mana Buddhi Chitta Ahankar, and the Pancha Pranas. All of them are present together as this body, Stula Sharir as well as Sukshma Sharir. So where is it present, this Purusha? Is it present in the physical body? Yes, it pervades the physical body also. Is it present in the subtle body? Yes, it is present in the subtle body also. But what we see as the physical body is only the form of that Purusha. What we see and know as the subtle body is also the form, the facets of that Purusha. The Purusha in its Swarupa is different from the gross body as well as the subtle body. The Purusha is experienced as I and as this world. So when we talk about the world, it seems to be outside. And when we talk about I, it's within. So when we focus our attention on this I, how do we know this I? In what way do I know myself? How do I know myself? What do I know about myself? I know about myself as the doer of action. Through the body, I act. Through the organs of action, I act. So I know myself as a doer of action. In the waking state, I act. In the dream state, also I act. But in deep sleep state, in that state where there is no dream, what happens to me? Do I act? I don't act, but I am present there. I am the doer, but still I am present there without doing anything. See, for example, if you have a pen and you write something, a beautiful poem on a piece of paper, you write a very nice poem with the help of that pen. So pen is there, ink is there in that pen, paper is there, your hand is there. All of them together, put together, are performing the action. Your mind is there, your buddhi is there, and the poem is written. So who is the writer of that poem? Is it the paper? Is it the hand? Is it the pen? Is it the mind? Is it the intellect? All these are instruments Just like a pen is an instrument, our body, mind, intellect, senses are also instruments. We don't say the pen has written, we say I have written. So I am the doer of that action, but I do the action with the help of the instruments. When the instruments are not present, I do not do any action. Means by myself, in me there are no actions. But in my presence, all actions happen. So in deep sleep, I remain without performing any action, but I am that actor in the waking and dream. In the same way, I also know myself as the knower. Through the senses, I know the world. Through the mind, intellect, I know the world. I am the knower. But the senses, the mind, the intellect are instruments. They are not the knower. Buddhi is not the knower. It is an instrument. Mind is not the knower. It is just an instrument. Senses are not the knower. They are just an instrument. I am the knower. So in the waking, I know. In the dream, I know. But in deep sleep, I remain there without the activity of knowing, because the instruments are kept aside. The instrument cannot function without me, but I exist without the instruments. So in deep sleep, I remain without the activity of knowing, but I am the knower. And I am also the enjoyer through the body, through the senses, through the mind, through the intellect. I also experience joy, pleasures. I say I enjoy. So I am the enjoyer. I am the enjoyer in the waking. I am the enjoyer in the dream. But in deep sleep state, I remain without the activity of enjoying, but I exist. So in the waking, activities happen, knowing happen, enjoying happen, but all this are happening because of the equipments. Without the equipments, there is no activity happening in me. There is no knowing happening in me. There is no enjoying happening in me. So without the activity, I just remain there as existence, Sat. Without the activity of knowing, I remain as knowledge, jnanam. And without the activity of enjoying, I remain in deep sleep as sukha, as happiness. So I am of the nature of Sat, that is existence, Chit, that is knowledge, Ananda, that is happiness. And this infinite world has come from me, so I am also infinite. From a limited entity, infinite cannot come. So I am infinite. So I am Satyam, Jnanam, Anandam, Anantam. Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Anandam. That I is the Purusha who is present in this body. When I am in deep sleep, I am not doing any activity. In me, there is no activity. So in the waking also, there is no activity in me. Activities happen at the level of the body. In me, there is no activity of knowing, but I am of the nature of knowledge itself. So that I, which is present in this body, remains there, pervading this body, existing in this body, making all the functions of the body possible, functions of doing, knowing, enjoying. That I is the Purusha only who is present in this body, who is also known as the Antaratma, the Pratyek Atma, the Bhokta, the Purusha, Jiva, Kshetrajna, Sushupta Atma. These are various names of the same entity that I. So the teacher says, इह एव अंतःशरीरे सौम्य स पुरुषः यस्मिन् एता षोडश कला प्रभवन्ति. From that Purusha alone, though he is present in this body, he is not only present in this body, but he is present everywhere. Because this body, as well as everything, is the kala, or the kalas of this Purusha. So, Shodasha Kala Prabhavanti. From this Purusha alone, all the 16 kalas are born. What do we mean 16 kalas are born? See, for example, a lump of clay is there. Clay is there. So we call it clay. We don't call it pot. We don't call it brick. We don't call it tile. We just call it a pot. We just call it a clay. Then from that clay alone, a pot is made. Then we call it a pot. Then from that clay alone, tile is made. We call it a tile. From that clay alone, a brick is made. We call it a brick. So when that pot is made, what do we mean by pot is made or pot is created? Something happens to the clay. Does the clay undergo any change, any modification? Means does the clay become non-clay? No. Clay remains clay only. Clay remains as clay, but the pot appears there. I got a nice pot made from clay. So, if you can understand the relationship between the pot and the clay, you will understand the relationship between Purusha and his kalas. Or you can understand the relationship between Brahma and this world. This world is like the pot, and Brahma is like clay. Now let us do a little bit of thinking. Okay. Now this pot is there. Does the pot exist? Yes, pot exists. Only a fool will say pot doesn't exist. Why do we say pot exists? Because we can see the pot with our eyes, we can touch the pot, we can smell the pot, we can taste the pot, we can hear the pot. So through the senses, which are prama, to gain knowledge, through the senses, I gain the knowledge of the existence of the pot. So pot exists. Pot exists. But what is the nature of this pot? If you just focus your attention on the pot has got a particular shape and it can be used to store water or milk or whatever. So it has got some utility. But the pot was not there once upon a time, and pot will not be there in future. The pot was not there before, the pot will not be there in future. So pot has got a temporary existence. It changes. It is born, it is sustained, it gets destroyed. But there is something in this pot which doesn't change, and that is the clay. Even when the pot was not created, clay was there. When pot is created, clay is still there. When pot gets destroyed, clay will still remain there. So clay doesn't change. Clay remains all the time as clay. Pot is born, pot is sustained, pot gets dissolved. Similarly, in place of clay, you think of Brahma. And in place of pot, you think of the world. So before the world was created, what was there? Brahma. Sadeva Saumya Idam Agra Asit. In Chandogya Upanishad we have seen, the Rishi says that before this world came into existence, means before this world was created, it was existing as Sat. So now, what about now? Now it is not only existing as Sat, but it is also expressing in a particular form, having a particular name. And it will remain like this with changes happening in the form. Then a time will come when all the entire form will get dissolved. Then what will happen? That Sat alone will remain. Then after a few years, again the world will be born, it will be sustained, and again it will get dissolved. So this is the very cycle through which the world goes through. In Bhagavad Gita also, Bhagavan says Avyaktadini bhutani vyaktamadhyani bharata avyakta nidhananneva tatra ka paridevana. In the second chapter, Bhagavan tells Arjuna that this whole world was avyakta, unmanifest before, then it becomes manifest, then again it will become unmanifest. So there is nothing to cry about it. This is the very nature of the world. But you, the Atma, is neither born, nor is undergoes any change, nor get destroyed. So all the time there. So that Purusha, that is what I am, alone is expressing as this world. So the world is only an expression in the form of, in a particular form, having particular name. Like the pot, can the pot exist without clay? No. If somebody says that, oh, this pot is there, but there is no clay, then he has got wrong knowledge. He has got false knowledge. This is clay only expressing as pot. Similarly, this world which we see is Brahma alone expressing as the world. If someone says it is the world, there is no Brahma in it, it is mithya, then that is wrong knowledge. So this is the world, this is Brahma seen as the world. Just like this is clay seen as pot, and the pot also exists. But the existence of the pot doesn't create Dvaita in the clay. You should not say, oh, pot is there and clay is also there. There are two things. No, there are no two things. There's only clay. So what do we mean by pot? It is just a form having a name. Similarly, there is Brahma, which is expressing as this world. So there are no two things, Brahma and the world. Brahma alone is expressing as the world. So what is this world? What world is just a name, a form having name. So the world expresses, or Brahma expresses as this world in 16 different ways. Shodasha Kala. Here, in this Upanishad, that Brahma is indicated as the Purusha having 16 kalas. World is also indicated elsewhere as having 24 tattvas. That is also fine. But here, the same word is indicated as having 16 kalas. So how these kalas are born in this Purusha? How this Purusha expresses as the 16 kalas? That we have to understand in order to recognize that Purusha. Because the Purusha can be recognized only through the kalas. Just as the clay can be recognized through the pot, or the gold can be recognized through the ornaments. Similarly, Brahma or the Purusha can be recognized through the kalas, the world. So how these kalas are born in that Purusha, that is being said now in the next mantra. So let us chant mantra number 3. Sa Ishansh Chakre Kasmin aham utkranto bhavishyami kasmin va pratisthite pratisthashyamiti saishansh chakre kasmin aham utkranto bhavishyami kasmin va pratisthite pratisthashyamiti sa ishansh chakre. Sa, that Purusha of 16 kalas, he thought ishansh chakre ikshanam darshanam, he saw. Literally it means he saw or he thought. What did he think? Ki kasmin aham utkranto bhavishyami. That what is there that which if it lives, I will also live, and if it stays, I will also stay. Kasmin aham utkranto bhavishyami. Whose departure I will also depart, and in whose presence I will also be there. Means he thought about the various factors of this creation. What will be the essence of this creation? What will be the various parts of this creation? All this he thought. See, for that Purusha to think, no mind, no intellect is required. In the Shastras it is said, he walks without legs, he holds without hands, he speaks without a mouth, he sees without eyes, he hears without ears. Also, by saying that he thought and then the world came into existence, the Shastras also point out the very cause and the very source of this entire universe is Chaitanya, consciousness, not inert. See, science is also trying to find out what is this universe, from where it has come. Science is trying its level best to study and to understand the secret of this universe. But though science appears to be very scientific, very logical, but at many places it behaves very foolishly, illogically. One of the laws which science has discovered is the law of inertia. That law of inertia says that an object will, if it is at rest, will continue to be at rest, or if it is in motion, it will continue to be in motion unless it is acted upon some external force. An inert thing by itself will not function. It needs an external force. So the science says this entire world is inert, made up of matter and energy. But it doesn't talk about the external force. Doesn't know about that external force. there is this, what we call the Big Bang theory, in which science says that some 14.5 or 13.5 billion years ago, the whole universe was concentrated at one point. All space, all matter, all energy was just concentrated on one point, which they call singularity. Then something happens. They don't know what happened. Something happened, they say, and there was a Big Bang. But what initiated that Big Bang, science doesn't know. Then the whole universe came into existence. But our Vedanta says the source of this universe is someone Chaitanya. If there is a systematic activity happening, there must be intelligence behind it. Without intelligence, matter by itself cannot act. Suppose you have a nice clock. In the good old days, we used to have that clock, huge clock on the wall, where you have to give that you have to tighten the spring inside, and it will work. The pendulum will move. So inside that clock, there are so many parts. Gears are there, springs are there, screws are there, pendulum is there, little bell is there. So many parts are there. And when all these parts function together systematically, it shows the right time. So if all the parts are functioning in a coordinated way, and we see the exact time. Similarly, this entire cosmos is like a huge clock. Though many, many parts are there, all of them are functioning in a very systematic way. So just as the clock cannot just assemble itself, the springs cannot just come, gears can't come like that by themselves and assemble to become a clock. Some intelligent person must have put them together. Similarly, this entire world, which is functioning in a very systematic way, precise way, you can calculate to the minute, to the second, when there will be, let us say, solar eclipse, when it will begin, when it will end, in which part of the world you can see that eclipse. You can precisely tell, like a clock, it functions. So there must be an intelligence behind it, who thought and who made. So that intelligence is this Purusha. So Purusha thought and he created this world. Means he himself became the world. Means he himself appeared like the world. See, for example, this pot, clay is there, and the pot maker makes this pot. The pot maker has got the idea of the pot in his head, and he converts that clay into a pot. But just imagine the clay itself has got the intelligence to convert itself into a pot. no need of a pot maker. Similarly, this entire creation, that intelligence, that Purusha, who is Sat Chit Ananda and Ananta, himself, out of himself, became the world of 16 kalas. And the very essence of this world, the very core of this world, Purusha thought that there should be some core, some key, in which whose presence I should appear to be present, and in whose absence I should appear to have left. See, for example, in this body, I experience my presence in this body. Why do I experience my presence in this body? And what is there in this body, if it leaves, I will not experience my presence in this body. That is prana. In this entire cosmos also, because of the presence of prana, Bhagwan's presence is experienced, felt. And when the prana moves, prana gets dissolved, everything gets dissolved. Therefore, first Bhagwan created prana, and then he created the whole world. First he created prana. This prana is very, very fascinating. We have this body, mind, intellect, and this prana we have seen before also, that everything functions. In the waking they function, in the dream they function. But in deep sleep, the body, the mind, the senses, they stop functioning. But the prana alone remains awake. Prana remains awake in this body. Prana continues to move in this body. Even when one is in deep sleep, prana remains awake. And because of the presence of the prana, there is this experience of I. In deep sleep, only prana was there. When I wake up, I say I slept happily. But actually what happened was, I was expressing through this prana only. But there was no thought, no activity, no other thing, only prana. So my presence I experience through the prana. When pranas merge, I don't even experience my presence. In that Supreme Purusha, in that Brahma, there is no experience of I, and there is no experience of this. I experience myself as I, and I experience this world as this. But in Brahma, there is no I, there is no this. There is only Sat, Chit, Ananda, Ananta, Brahma. So Bhagavan first created from himself the pranas in the sense of I was born. And then he created the entire world with variety of forms. So before that he thought here, So this, the scripture indicate this in order to tell us that this world which we experience is not inert. It is the Chaitanya only expressing as this world. It is not jada. So kasmin aham utkrantah bhavishyami. So what is that which having left I will also leave? And kasmin va pratishtite pratishtasyami. And what is that which remains? I will also remain. So that Bhagwan wanted to create, and then all the other things he created. So in that supreme Purusha, there is no division of any kind. There is nothing. Only that Param Purusha alone is there. So by creating that prana, he created the sense of I. And by creating other factors, he created the sense of this, aham and idam. This aham and idam itself, themselves, are this world, is this world. See, we have seen in the first question which was asked, that from where all these creatures have come. There it was said all of them have come from that Prajapati. And Prajapati created Rai and Pran. Raincha Pranancha etau me bahuda praja karishyate iti. So Prajapati was born from that Param Purusha only. And from this Prajapati, all the creatures were born. So, sa ishans chakre kasmin aham utkaranto bhavishyami. Shankaracharya ji has written a long commentary on this shlok, on this mantra. You can just go through them. Here he negates the philosophy of Sankhya. See, the Upanishads, they convey the highest wisdom, the true wisdom. But different philosophers and thinkers, they have come up with different understanding or misunderstanding about what the Upanishads are conveying. So there are those who talk about Dvaita. They say that the whole everything is two only. That Purusha is there and Prakriti is there. They say Purusha and Prakriti are there, two realities. These are the Sankhya philosophers. They talk about Dvaita, Prakriti and Purusha. And Purusha also, they say that in every body there is one Purusha. So there are infinite Purushas out there, who is somehow connected to the Prakriti. So he has to separate himself from the Prakriti through the sadhana of yoga. So yoga, Patanjali yoga, is the sadhana for separating the Purusha from Prakriti. Through yam, niyam, asana, pranayam, pratyahara, dharana, dhyan, samadhi, by chitta vritti nirodha, one can separate the Purusha from Prakriti. That itself they consider as moksha. But Vedanta doesn't accept this. This Sankhya, they say that whole world was created by this Prakriti only independently. Purusha doesn't do anything. Prakriti only just converted itself into this world. But Vedanta says Prakriti is jada. By itself, it cannot do anything. So what you are understanding from the Upanishad is not proper, is wrong. That Purusha is not, this Prakriti is not different from that Purusha. And ultimately there is only one Purusha alone. So Shankaracharya ji in his commentary, he negates the Sankhya philosophy by pointing out the defect in their understanding. Then there are those who are other philosophers are also there. Then, but there is this Buddhist who say that everything is mithya. The world is mithya, means not there. And Purusha also is mithya. Everything is mithya, only Shunya is there. That is also negated as not proper. But some of our Vedanta students and teachers, they also call this Prakriti as mithya. Prakriti, which is expressing as this world, as mithya, which is not proper. Because in Gita also Bhagavan calls that Prakriti as his own Prakriti. This is my para Prakriti, this is my apara Prakriti, which is also called Maya. Bhagavan calls that Maya as my Maya, Mama Maya. So Shankaracharya ji has written an elaborate commentary to negate the idea conveyed by Samkhya, and he says what you're saying is wrong, not proper. What is conveyed here is that there is only one tattva, that Purusha, which alone is expressing as this world, but this world is not different from the Purusha. So this world is also the Purusha only, expressing as this world. Just like one gold expresses a different ornament, we name those ornaments with different names. But even if we give 100 different names, all of them are gold only. Similarly, this world expresses in 16 different ways, and the 16 parts are given names, but all of them are Brahma, are that Purusha alone. So that, what are the various kalas and how they were, in what order they were born, that Bhagwan, the Rishi tells in the next mantra, and that mantra we will see in our class on Wednesday. Okay? So till then you take care, be happy, safe, peaceful, healthy, do your work, do your sadhana, listen to the pravachan again. And the main fundamental thing which I am teaching, you have to catch hold of it. The rest are details and repetition, but the very essence should be understood properly. If we misunderstand, then it's gone. Then everything will be just a waste. So one has to understand this Advaita Vedanta properly. Okay, so we will meet again on Wednesday. Hari Om. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. 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 Jaya Jaya Ram. Jaya Jaya Ram. Bole Siya Ramchandra Bhagwan ki Jai. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.